Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So, when we're looking at people's squats, we can really identify almost right away if we have an issue with the ankles or an issue with the hips. And it's pretty visually obvious if you've got a trained eye, so I'm just going to help you kind of see what this looks like. It's pretty visually obvious what people with tight ankles, what restrictions look like, and then it can really help us identify that so we know how to attack it. So all over the site are ankle mobility, and I've got a bunch of videos helping with that. So here's just a quick little what does an air squat look like if you've got tight ankles. So the easiest way to do this, and you can actually get, I've got all my stuff on it so I won't pull it out, but you can actually get a bench out in front of you to block your knees, but I'm just gonna block my knees from traveling forward just on my own to mimic tight ankles. So if I'm squatting and I try and go down and I don't have good ankle range of motion, we're gonna act like that's really all my ankles have. So what has to happen is now I go down, I can't drive my knees forward anymore. So the only way for me to keep going lower and lower is to bend into it. So we start seeing, and it's pretty obvious right off the bat, when you see people squatting in this really bent over, really shin vertical type of way, and the only way they can get down low is by really leaning into it. That's almost always indicative of super tight ankles. Doesn't mean that's the only problem. Most of us have a lot of little things going on, but that is just the clear sign that super bent over, an inability to get upright in the squat. So just watch at the adjustments here. As I get trapped by my ankles, now if my ankles allow my knees to track forward, now it's much easier. Not only do I get lower, I get into a nice, and for me, a lot more comfortable chest up high squatting position. So what we also tend to see is those people with those really tight ankles really rely on the butt and the hamstring because we're in those positions. So what we'll see from those people is now we identify them as having tight ankles. We start working on the ankles, but now we know they're not great at getting their quads involved. So then what we typically start to see is they start squatting better, and then as they get into areas where they start to struggle, they jam back, looking for that butt and hamstring, but mainly looking for a position that they've done a ton. So as we get your ankles moving better and better and better in the squat, we also need to remind our clients that when we change these positions and gain new ranges of motion, we're also going to need to gain strength and stability in these new positions. And that might actually make your squat worse before it gets way, 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 way better. So a lot of times when we're making these tweaks, even as you gain more ankle range of motion, people tend to just go back to squatting how they used to squat, and so we never get that tie-in. So it's up to you to tie it in, to really start pushing yourself to get nice and balanced on those feet. And whenever we find an issue that we can improve on, let's improve on it, tie it back into the system. Hope that helps.